Hi, welcome, Sammy.
Yes, good afternoon.
Get buyer ready now. We want to talk about 2023. So we're not going to go out there with any huge predictions, are we? Nothing crazy that we can get hung on?
Just got my crystal ball here.
Crystal ball stuff. Yeah, well, everyone's got an opinion, right? We've got our expert here, Sammy Powell.
Yes.
Who's going to break down some of the key things we're going to look forward to in 2023, what we can expect for smart property investors that are looking forward to getting into the game next year, and also owner-occupiers, of course, that are looking in different parts of Australia. Now, there is no one property market. We talk about that every week. It is markets within markets, so this is general talk. That's pretty fair to say, isn't it? We're not going to talk specifics, like getting down to the kind of weeds about which areas are the hotspots.
No, well, everyone's personal financial situation is different, right? Owner-occupiers, investors. So just to give you that broad overarching viewpoint of where we're looking at 2023 to give you either that confidence to buy or to hold or to sell. It's always good to sort of know from the eyes of a business that are buying property every single day and helping those find the best agents to sell their properties as well. So,
yeah,
I mean, from where I'm sitting, we've got a pretty good eye on where the market's heading. So take it as you will. And any questions, feel free to chuck them in the comments below.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get into it, Sammy. So talk about the post-New Year's hangover. So we're going to go out New Year's Eve. We're going to sink a few tinnies.
Get on it, yeah.
We're going to celebrate a good year in 2022, and we're going to set our goals for 2023. But what is the post-New Year's hangover, and how does that differ from my head that's going to be aching on January the 1st?
Yes, well, I call it the post-year hangover because, during this time, you get the silly season, Christmas, New Year's, everyone's they're relaxing, they're winding down, they're unlikely to be putting their mind towards getting their finance sorted to buy a property. And it's generally across the market over the years that I've been involved in property. Would you say the same?
Yeah, typically everyone goes on summer holidays, right? Like the cricket's on, feet are up. Most people are down the beach or whatever you do with family that you love and enjoy. Yep. One thing I would comment on, though, that, I mean, last year was an out-of-line year. It was crazy over December, January, just because of how much heat was in the market. But this year, we thought it was going to be reasonably quiet in retrospect. And we've been blown away by how busy it's been in the last couple of weeks. So there's still heaps of people buying. There's still plenty of transactions. And I think that is due to limited stock on the market, right? Like there's still a supply and demand imbalance that's keeping things, juggling or balancing nicely.
Yeah, and that's why the hangover that I talk about is generally we're expecting that to continue to sort of be a little bit slow into January, maybe February. You're also looking at school fees coming out as well, and then people with their bank accounts aren't as full after Christmas, New Year's, holidays, school fees. So that's kind of that hangover period that I'm referring to. And it takes
a little while for everyone to reset. It's typically after the Australia Day long weekend that you see the property market revive or rev back up. As an agent, it used to be who could book the most auctions possible this side of Christmas to start after that Australia Day long weekend. So you can expect a lot of stock to come on in that early February period and the first run of auctions around that kind of third week or fourth week of February. So that'll be, I think, a real test of the market then, because we don't know. Obviously, we get a month off the RBA sitting. So we're not going to get any information in terms of rates going up or plateauing in January. So we are going to be waiting until the first Tuesday in February, and we won't really know about auction clearance rates. Probably more like the first week of March, last week of February, first week of March is the real test. So it's kind of this, a bit of a grey area for 3 months, 2 to 3 months in the property market. So it's interesting that you call it the hangover, because it definitely is. It takes the market, it's 6 weeks or so to go through that lull and then come back out of it. And it'll be really interesting where we get to on the other side. So talk to us about some other things. So there's going to be some good negotiation opportunities. We've seen that late 2023, but why are we going to see that early 2023? Or late 22, I should have said.
Yeah, late 22, early 23. I mean, we touched on that a few weeks ago in regards to the wrap-up of 2022, but you're seeing these people, if they have those properties on the market, there's a higher chance that they're actually motivated to sell.
Absolutely.
And there's generally those timeframes around it. So obviously fishing through those properties and finding those sellers that have those either pain points or reason to take your offers seriously, we're finding fantastic negotiation opportunities that we're helping out our clients and getting good deals done.
Yeah, and the balance always at this time of year or in a changing market, or what we like to call it and refer to as the shoulder season at the moment, where it hasn't quite hit potentially rock bottom yet, so we're still in that changing market and softening, is that there's a bit of a, I don't know how I would word this, like you can be misled by the motivation by certain people that are on the market. There is the genuine sellers that are super motivated, as you just explained, people that have bought already, might be financially motivated. They can't, due to affordability rates rising or loss of job. There's people that are going to move for whatever family reasons or lifestyle changes or for work. They're going to be motivated. There's people that are going to be trading up or trading down for their particular needs. They're also motivated. But there's still a lot of people that are going to be on the market that are sitting there with unrealistic expectations, and you've got to weed those ones out. And this will certainly be the case when you get to sort of end of Jan, early Feb. If there's been properties that are on the market since October, November, December, you can be sure those ones are just out of line with the market. So it can be dangerous. One, they can be a waste of time because people just aren't, serious about meeting the market. So they're just kind of, wasting the agent's time that's handling the sale and wasting the buyer's time who might get emotionally invested in that process and have a crack at it. But I will put a disclaimer there. Some of these can be fantastic opportunities because at some point, if they do change their motivation, often they'll either re-auction it, which is a great sign they're motivated to meet the market and sell, or they'll appoint another agent. They'll fire that agent. And if that's the case, there's new energy. And what you see often is that an agent will put 3 to 5 months worth of work into it, not get the sale. It goes to a second agent and they'll sell it within a week or 2 weeks because they've conditioned the seller to come to market with lower expectations. They've changed the marketing. They've set that expectation lower on price. And then there's a renewed energy of buyers that come through the door and they get it sold. So there is some really good opportunities if you focus on those ones. And it's about looking at days on market, isn't it? Tell us how you would easily check that days on market metric, because that's an important one.
Well, for the property itself, you can, for us, I jump on RP data and you can see how long it's been there. And also you can see the change of the asking prices and whether the auction campaigns. Also, you can obviously talk to the agent, call them, and even do a Google search of the address is what I like to do and see if it's been listed with another agent prior. Yeah,
look, basically it's easy to do. So without having to have any major subscriptions or any subscriptions, you should be able to do this for free on Google, and you'll be able to track the length of time the property's been on the market. And that's important because that's going to give you a really good impact about how serious they are at that current price level and how motivated they are to maybe meet the market and sell.
Another key tip is sometimes in the photos, they have the date stamped.
Oh, look at that. Cheeky. Expert. I like it. I don't even think of that one.
No, well, not every photo, but every now and then you see them. And
I'll claim that. Another tip is you should look at the top of the photo for the date. Scott Agate, Hello Haus 2022.
Visionary.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. I didn't even think of that. So that's a simple thing to do. You can track these things really easily. And as I said, you don't need these subscription things, and it will have an impact on your property search for sure. So there's some good negotiation opportunities for sure. And I think I'll just touch on this briefly. I think before the market, starts to kick back up, which was what we all think it will do, something in the near term. Yeah, no one's got a crystal ball as to what month that might be where it changes. But there's just going to be really good buying opportunities, I think, before we start to see rates plateauing and more confidence come into the market.
Yeah, so many things we can jump in on that point. But another thing that you said is just monitoring that market, and even over this Christmas period, just if you are serious, keep on your phone and keep having a look through, keep talking to agents. Flick those text messages, use your BCC email trick that we teach in our Get Buy Ready course. If you haven't seen that, then jump on and jump in your details, and we'll
send you access to it. You can get access to it. And there's a few easy little strategies like that to stay top of mind with agents. It's a great time to be doing it over the Christmas period. A lot of them will be away, but if you start building rapport, and then you'll get these opportunities for pre and off-market listings. And there's a lot of properties that I just said to you at the start that as an agent, you would have signed them up in December or even November with a view to listing them in February. So there's actually behind the scenes a whole heap of property in Australia that's already signed up to an agency agreement with an agent that's going to represent them. And those agents are holding those listings ready to take them to market in 2023. So track down those agents, find who they are, and get those opportunities before you compete against the wider audience.
Another little tip is
Come on, mate, you need to tell me these before you talk.
The properties that they're coming to me right now. Okay. So when I'm talking to these agents, they might have an offer on them subject to finance or building and pests, whatever. It might get to a stage over this period where they actually fall over during the finance period, the settlement period. And these agents are looking just to try and get that quick sale. So it might be something that was a lost opportunity that became like a real fresh one. And if you're there, you're ready to act, and you know you're confident around your figures, you can get deals done, and you can use the visionary Scott Agate over here, because we've done something like that quite a few times where we're actually getting properties below previous contract prices. So
it's just about being in a good, strong financial position, isn't it? And tracking them for when the day you know it's going to fall over. And the agents will openly tell you that, there's a building and pest clause, or there's a finance clause that lapses on Thursday at 5 o'clock or Friday at 5 o'clock. So it's just making sure you track those things. The other thing I was going to say is we track all the sales. So if we let a property go because someone overpays beyond what it's worth, or someone beats our client to it for whatever reason, we're still tracking those sales if they're conditional exchanges. And then we know what they're selling for. So even if they do go through and that opportunity is lost, we've got absolute first-hand knowledge of what these properties are selling for. That's the most up-to-date information to get a gauge of real market value at a given time. So I think it's important that you track all those sales and you know exactly what's going on in your marketplace.
Yes, but just jump into those next sections of we're covering the new normal with interest rates and inflation. We were touching on that before.
What's the new normal for 2023?
Well, from what I'm seeing, obviously we're seeing that slow down the interest rate rises. We've had 8 hikes throughout this year, which people were unaware that was going to happen. Inflation went through the roof. It's now reverting back. I mean, it's back under 7% now. Got up to that 8% range, and then interest rates are sort of slowing through.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it was pretty easy to predict that the RBA would increase by 25 basis points this week, just because they went through such an aggressive cycle, and they've got a 2-month lag now. As you said, they won't meet till February. So basically, people's psyche, they'll get used to this interest rate environment. Inflation is obviously still tracking downwards, which is good, and then people will start to build more confidence around where interest rates sits in the market. So with that comes that level of confidence. And I mean, we're already seeing it now, and we're not just saying it because we're here, but we are seeing a little bit more interest in properties, more people we're negotiating against. I mean, there's 2 deals this week where, they were taking it to either an auction or they're going to do a multiple offer scenario. And we helped our clients basically bash down that door from the agent and put that fear in their eyes that we won't be here unless we can get it pre-auction or pre the weekend. So that's worked out quite well.
And that doesn't always work. It's a strategy that we use often, but it doesn't always work. You've got to have other strategies beyond just that as well, because a lot of times agents will call your bluff on that and take that risk. And it's because they've got buyers in their hands. So, we negotiated on... we tried to buy many properties this week for different clients in different parts of the country, and every property there was buyers on. There was not one clear time where I had a shot this week that there wasn't some other competition, a previous offer that was made that was close to where we came in at, or other people that were going to compete at the same time, either through, as you say, sealed bids or taking that property to auction and seeing it through. So definitely have to apply other strategies just in excess of that just to secure those ones. There's still plenty of heat in the market. There's a lot of doom and gloom in the media, but there's still plenty of good buyers, and it's down to, I know you want to talk about this today as well, but it's down to good quality assets, isn't it? There's only a certain amount of these that come to the market in any cycle, any part of the cycle, and they're always in high demand. So it's unusual that you get the one-on-one with a vendor or a private seller on a prime asset that is going to be sought after in the market, and for good reason, because there's multiple buyers that will compete against it and typically drive that property to an emotional premium.
Yeah, well, that was the other point of the 2023 prediction was the focus on good quality assets. So
it's so important, and it's important all the time. It's important for capital growth. It's important for rent returns. It's important for an insurance policy for you down the line, isn't it? That you're going able to sell it, and it's going to be in high demand when you need to offload that asset, should you need to, in a hurry, whether it's a good or bad market in the future.
Yeah, that's a really good point from a risk mitigation point from the investor side of things. I always like to sort of hit that home is people do get caught up in the FOMO in rising markets, and they throw out the fundamentals of, I guess, risk assessment, and that is finding those A-grade assets and being happy to pay a slight premium for the suburb, because in a down market, you don't want to be left having to sell a property in a B-grade or C-grade location because...
Come on, mate, call it as it is. Pig asset.
Shitty assets.
Yeah.
Shitty locations.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of pig assets, and it's on the back of, as you say, boom time market conditions where people will trade off the quality of a home or an investment just to get their foot in the door, and that is a major no-no. You're better off, as you say, spending a bit more money or changing locations and buying the best in class wherever you can afford it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's that topic. And always, no matter what we do, like Scott's a massive advocate of it, and I've seen him work. And acting with speed, I mean, any market, it's just so essential. So that's another big thing to hit home on, even in 2023. Have confidence, act with speed. If you can't, then obviously reach out and have a strategy session with us, and we'll see if we can help you.
It's crucial, even for us in this market. So in a softening market where people will sit back and take their time in terms of an offer. You've seen me this week, everything is with urgency when we put an offer forward and we talk to an agent. And it's not out of desperation. It's not like we desperately need this and we need it to happen today. It's a very smart strategy around we're only going to be in this window for X amount of time. And if you don't accept our offer, there's other reasons why we won't be here. And that's, well-versed, and it's baited throughout a strategy on each property, and it works really well. And speed is crucial to that.
Yeah. Next point I was looking at covering was, and you'd be able to sort of hit home on this a bit, is just understanding the agent's pain points during this shoulder season and going into 2023. The way I look at it is that the agent's there to obviously get the best sale price for the seller. That's their job. But it does get to that stage where they are at risk after the 9-day exclusive listing.
Yep.
They've got to put food on the table as well. And with less sales going through in this time, it's interesting how the dialogue can switch between certain agents.
Oh my God, how much has it switched? We do a lot of the negotiation on the phone, or I do on speaker, so that the team can hear what the agents are saying, just so everyone can get a gauge on how much competition is in the property and the strategies and things that I deploy. And it's crazy. Some of the vast majority of agents, I would say, in the last month, and this will continue into 2023, so it's a really important point, have just changed the dialogue altogether. And there's a lot more that want to be mates with us now, and they want to be friendly, where 9 months ago, a year ago, it was, you'd be lucky to even get a phone call into some agents. They're too busy. They certainly didn't want to talk to you about comparable sales or anything else. They were, bowled over with buyer interest. How things change very quickly as the market changes. This is definitely going to become a key point in 2023. Yep. The end of the agency agreement, there's an opportunity there to, if it's been on the market for 70 or 80 days, to push really hard and to find those agents that are super motivated and match that with the seller that's motivated. And the power of building rapport.
Yes.
If agents are going to start working for buyers almost, or themselves to get deals done, it's those buyers that have built rapport with agents that, can have a conversation, can get themselves into a position. Agents who know that you're real, that you're legit. So don't make offers that you don't back up. Be a high level communicator. Do what you say you're going to do. Don't be a dick. Be a nice human about it. You can get exactly what you want in the time frame that you want it without being aggressive or nasty to people. I think if you do that and you play the game nicely, you're going to get really good opportunities in 2023 as well.
Yeah. And like majority of the agents, they're really nice people. They're good at what they do.
Come on, the majority of agents are really nice people.
Well, they're nice to me, mate.
I'm only joking.
No, but you just got to see the angle and kind of use that common sense from where I stand anyway. And I mean, if they're taking the piss and they're telling porkies, you generally can find that out anyway. But Any questions, obviously, that's kind of what we're here for too. Or if you want to have something in your scenario that you think we could help out, just chuck it in the comments below and we'll try and build a bit of a story around that.
Yeah, we can workshop it with you. But yeah, definitely going to be a continuation of this in terms of the dialogue shift. And the other thing that we talked about over the last couple of weeks that I think is a real opportunity for you on the back of this topic, on that particular heading, is the power of those relationships that you form with agents and the ability for them to find you something bespoke that's off their database. So no longer are they just putting listings up and they'll get 100 people to come and look for it. They've got to work their database harder. If you can start to really build rapport with certain agents and tell them exactly what you want, they'll start doing things for you. And I'm talking about property development in particular here. We've amalgamated sites off market. We've had people, running around with their property management teams to find things in their rent roll that match what our buyer is looking for. They're just going to go an extra yard for you if you're really nice and you actually want something like that bespoke out of their service.
And you're persistent too.
Yeah. And you've got to know exactly what you want and be really crystal clear with your communication to them.
Which, don't we cover that consistently in the, what course was it? Get buy ready course. Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not rocket surgery, is it? It's just the same things over and over again in real estate. It's once you learn the fundamentals, which is why we want everyone to go through and do the course, you're going to have those skills for life, and you'll just find this whole thing is a lot easier than trying to go it alone and map it all out by making mistakes along the way.
Yeah. Oh, well,
cool. What's next?
Mid to late 2023 this is like,
what's going to happen then? Other than my birthday and your birthday.
I just had my birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday.
I'll have a birthday. I will too, actually. late 2023. I'll just get my tarot cards out and we'll see how they go.
What's going to happen mid to late 2023? Tell us.
Well, this is hold me to it, actually, because I feel like everything we talked about, people get used to the new normal. Interest rates will slow down, if not stop from here on out. Inflation will continue to come back. Confidence will come back into the market mid 2023, and then you'll start to see the market start picking back up again. You'll see capital growth, obviously in certain locations, but the big negative doom and gloom around the Australian property market at the moment is mainly focused in Sydney, Melbourne, and the media is sort of honing on that. We're even seeing shifts coming through now. This gives me that confidence to say that I think the end of 2023 will be positive, and we're coming back to the new normal where we're seeing that 6 to 7% capital growth rate across the board. So you've got to kind of look at it and go, well, if you look,
which is sustainable, right, compared to the 25 plus, and in certain areas 40, 50% in a year, which is just crazy.
Yeah, and that's kind of like you're seeing these investors coming through. They're all geniuses because they made 50% profit in 2 years, and then they get sick of it and go, I'll go back to crypto. And to each their own, but have a long-term view. And safe as houses, Maslow's hierarchy needs. People need food and shelter, and then you add on also the vacancy rates we're seeing. There's a good statistic that I like to throw around where migration rates, there's 50,000 vacant dwellings available in Australia at the moment, and the projected migration rate for Australia in the next 12 months is 200,000 people. And that's year on year. And then you add into obviously the supply constraint we're going through. I mean, we're seeing it now where people that did have those plans to build, they're seeing the build costs go through the roof, so they're deciding to sell their vacant blocks, and they don't have the confidence to push through it. Some do, and I think they'll be handsomely rewarded.
Are you looking at me?
Yeah,
hope so.
Pushing you,
pushing me to build.
Yeah, but that's my thoughts for end of 2023. As we'll get back to that new normal. We're still seeing these growth rates come through, and most people won't even feel it or recognise it. We do, because we're doing it every single day. So I'm pretty confident.
Well, on the back of that, in terms of the construction stuff, I definitely believe that any new product, like any high-level new product that's come out of the ground this time next year, is going to be highly sought after. So I can see this trend of quality renovations and new builds really setting high price bars, because there's 3 months ago, 6 months ago, there was where we are on Gold Coast, but also right across different markets that we have access to for buyers. Anything that was development potential, anything that was unrenovated or needing work that was a quality asset in a good location was just bowled over with buyer interest and selling for an absolute premium and some. Fast forward 6 months or 9 months from Sydney, and those properties typically are struggling to sell. People just, they're getting fed up with all the noise in the media about the high cost of construction and the long delays. They don't want those risks. They don't want that exposure, and they're prepared to, pay a premium for a turnkey property where you can push your suitcase in and job's done. So it's back to that kind of lazy society to a certain degree, isn't it, where we want everything like this. We're used to that, and that's definitely going to be a part of the second half of 2023, I think, in terms of those prices selling for a premium.
And there's a theme here too that I like to sort of drill down on, where whatever's happening in the market today is the chances are in 12 months time, it's going to be completely different. I mean, you look what it was 12 months ago and then 12 months before that. I mean, it's constantly changing. So if you're doing what everyone's doing today, chances are, you're probably going to have an incorrect strategy. So just have a think about it and have a chat to us if you need any help. I'm always just want to try and help people stop making stupid decisions.
Yeah, it makes sense. Cool.
Anyway.
Well, that's our thoughts for what to expect in 2023. Thanks for joining us today.
Oh, I've got one more, sorry.
Oh, God, come on, mate. Better be good now.
Expect to see our faces everywhere, because I think we're changing lives here. So I think.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
2023 Hello Haus is going to be.
We'll be big.
We'll be smashing it.
Yeah, we'll be big. So thank you for all of our
thanks for all the help,
customers and support in 2022. We look forward to doing some amazing things for you guys next year, and we'll keep the content coming. So that's it on the Get Buyer Ready show for this week. Thank you for tuning in, and as Sam has said, anything you want to workshop with us, drop it in the comments below. Otherwise, we'll see you next Wednesday on the show. Take care.